So this is sort of about what happens after surgery, how you live your life after surgery. So as you know, probably a lot of people in this room have tried to lose weight a lot of different ways and have been on lots of different kinds of diets, which have worked to some degree. And we know that the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and the FDA, their recommendations are constantly changing about what's an appropriate diet. But, and so all that notwithstanding, what we know to be true, because we do this surgery and we know what works for our patients, is the kind of diet that works for our patients is a high protein diet with a low amount of fat and low amount of carbohydrates. And that's similar to some of these diets I was just sort of alluding to. But this is really what works. Now, of course, are there some healthy fats that you need to have in your daily food? Yes, of course there are. Can you avoid all carbohydrates? Probably not. But if you stick to thinking about eating protein first with every meal, every snack, you'll be successful in the long run, most likely. Okay. Now, a lot of the calories we take in are in beverages. So soda is an obvious source. If you poured out a bottle of soda and you filled it about a third or two-thirds of the way up with sugar cubes, that's the amount of sugar that would be in that bottle of soda. It's just dissolved so you don't see it. But what you might not think about are fruit juices. All right, so they have tons of sugar in them. Milk has a lot of sugar in it. So can you drink milk again? Yeah, you can have a small glass of low-fat milk or skim milk, but you can't make you can't be drinking glass after glass of milk, even though it has calcium in it and so forth. Shakes, or I should say, like ice cream shakes. But even things that are not so exotic, like when you go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, and you get the mochaccino or frappuccino or whatever those things are, they have some of them up to 600, 700, 800, depending how big it is, 600, 800 calories in some of those drinks. And that's, of course, if you have whipped cream on top and whatever. But even just a coffee with, several spoonfuls of sugar, you put a little milk in, that is going to cause you to regain weight in the long run. So you can't drink your calories if you're going to be successful. So that's sort of about the types of things you should be eating. Now, the way you're going to be eating is also different because your stomach is so tiny after either procedure, the sleeve or the bypass. You can't really fill it up with liquids if you're expecting to eat a decent meal because there's just not room enough for both of them. So you have to think about eating and letting the food get through that small stomach and then drinking a little bit later or a little bit before. Yes, there's a question over here.
What if you're thirsty?
Oh, you're going to be thirsty. The question is, what if you're thirsty? And that's a great question. So you will be thirsty, and especially right after surgery, you're going to be very thirsty, and you're going to drink constantly. You're going to be drinking water all day long, but you're going to be sipping. So you're going to be taking small sips all day long, and then after time, after you've lost most of the weight you're going to lose, your drinking becomes more normal. You don't necessarily need to drink tons and tons of water. But in the short term, in the early on, you're going to drink lots of water. And you'll be able to do it. But just like you'll be able to drink a half a gallon of water, a month after surgery, you're going to drink a half gallon of water during the course of a day. If you do that with food, if you're snacking on small amounts of food all day long, then you will regain weight and you will not be successful with the gastric bypass or the sleeve. So remember, the stomach is small. It's the size of a thumb or a banana. But if you constantly are putting things through it, your body will absorb those calories. So you have to change your eating habits, and you also have to change the types of foods you're eating. So alcohol after weight loss surgery. Although we talk about malabsorption for some vitamins and minerals, for alcohol gets through the intestinal tract very easily and very quickly. After surgery, it gets through your intestines and into your bloodstream like that. I snapped my finger. You didn't hear that. So it gets into your bloodstream very quickly. That means you become intoxicated very quickly and with maybe a much smaller amount of alcohol than you're used to. So the typical person who could have maybe a couple of drinks and not feel really intoxicated will feel maybe very intoxicated even after one drink. So when it's safe to do so, which will be several months after surgery, and you want to experiment with alcohol again, you'll have to do it very, very cautiously. We don't really advocate that because there is a tendency to become addicted to alcohol, particularly after surgery or people who have had that tendency before surgery. You can cause liver damage by that high concentration of alcohol in your bloodstream. So we're really not advocating that you drink alcohol, but on the other hand, is it safe to have a very small amount of alcohol once in a while after surgery? Yes, it probably is safe to do that.